Hi, boys and girls and moms and dads. I just wanted to touch base with you about writing letters and a little bit on handwriting. I know you're all in different places in terms of what you have time to work on and what your children are willing to work on. And it is important to kind of let your child be the guide. And when they're showing that they're done, go ahead and be done. Take a break, and play a game, do an activity, maybe try some of those brain breaks and mindful activities that I've been putting into the weekly plan. That's really helpful. It's definitely helpful here in my house for all of us, whether we are grown-ups or 7th grade is my youngest. Taking those brain breaks, doing some yoga, doing some deep breathing, 10 deep breaths in a row. Again, the kiddos know about star breathing, where we breathe slowly in until our hands go all the way up. So we go, and then we hold it, and we move our hands slowly up and down, imagining that we're going around the 5 points of a star. So please don't feel like they need to be doing work for 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour nonstop. That's not what we're doing in the kindergarten classroom. We work for 10 minutes, we do the pledge, we clean up, we go to the rug. They sit for a few minutes while we do that morning meeting that I record every day, and then we get up and we sing a song or we do an activity. And just the moving from the desks to the rug is a brain break, and it's getting their bodies moving. Then we do our writing activity, and then we walk back to our seats to find our workspace, and we write for 15 or 20 minutes, and then we stop and we bring the work to the rug and we share it. So you'll see there's a lot of moving. It's like work for 10 and then move for a couple minutes, and then work and move and work and move and things like that. So, you know, give yourself permission to spread things out, to do 10 minutes, little bits sprinkled in here and there, saying if you do this, then we'll do that. If you sit and complete these 2 pages in the packet, then we will, blow bubbles, and then, keep doing an if this, then that, or first this, and then that. We have a tool that we use a lot with some of our kiddos. So at any rate, what I wanted to talk about was handwriting, but I went off on a tangent there with mindfulness and taking breaks and just, giving them time. So I wanted to talk about our handwriting without tears, which is the approach that we use here at Brat School, and how we try and teach the kiddos how to make the letters. So, because from some of the work that's been shared with me through pictures, that's a great way for you to share the work with me right now. I would love to see how the kiddos are doing and give some feedback, because that's a big part of being a teacher, right? Is not just saying, here's what we're learning, but to help the kiddos continue to evolve and to give them guidance and keep moving them along the continuum. So Magic C, it's called Magic C because the letter C is part of many letters. So as you can see here, I've made a C. So that means I start at the top and I curve around. It's really important. The kids know the song, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, left to right. That's how we read and how we write, top to bottom, left to right. So they know that that's how we read. They know that's how their sentence is supposed to build across. It's the same way that we also create our letters. So with the letter C, I can create A, G, Q, P, B, E. I forgot my D in here. Silly Mrs. Growth. My brain is going a little crazy right now. So there's my Magic C and then my straight line down. So here we have, to make a letter A, a lot of kiddos, they either reverse the line and it's on the left side instead of the right side, or it's coming off as a puppy dog tail. So if they just create a Magic C and then they bring a little line that they pull top to bottom down, there's your A. To make a G, I've seen a lot of G's that look something like this. G's should not be looking like this as we go into the third trimester of kindergarten. The kiddos are ready and they have the control. They just need to be mindful and they need to get in that good habit of making a magic C. Then we pick up our pencil. We frog jump up here to the top, we would tell them, and then I'm gonna dive down and curve around. And now I have a beautiful G that's easy to read, because you'll see in some of the how-to work that we're doing in writing, it's really important once we got into our second unit of writing that we teach the kids how to make their writing easy to read. And finger spaces is a big part of that, but also being able to write those letters nice and neat. So if the kiddos are having a hard time reading their own handwriting, it would be challenging for someone else to read their handwriting. So this is a great time while we're learning at home to practice making those letters nice and neat. To make a Q, again, a magic C, I frog jump up, so I lift up my pencil, and then I'm gonna dive down and I put my curl on it. To make my D, a magic C, and then I come all the way down. Lots of times I see Ds that look like this. That is not a good D. A D is supposed to have a hard straight line over here. It's supposed to have a little bit of a corner going on right there. And that happens when I take my magic C and then my long straight line that's coming down top to bottom. Now, P and B are a little bit different. That magic C is made backwards. So it's the same concept, except now it's a backwards C. And now I'm gonna dive down and put my line on it. To make my B, I make my backwards C. I have to frog jump up here to the top and come straight down. Okay, I don't do one of these. I see a lot of B's that look like that. That's not nice and neat. And just being mindful, building that fine motor control, all of these things go a long way in your child's skills. Now, E is really a fun one to make. It does have that magic C going on, but first it does what we call over here, we call with E, whoops, we hit the ball and then we run around the bases. So E looks like this. I hit the ball, so that's me hitting the ball. I start going left to right, hit the ball, run around the bases. I hit the ball and run around the bases. And we do need to make that connection point right over here. Sometimes with the kids, and I'm working with them writing sight words at the reading table, we spend some time focusing on letter formation during that time. And E can be a little bit tricky, but once they get that concept of hit the ball, a nice straight line, going left to right, run around the bases, it's also going to prevent the E from being made backwards or having letter reversals, which is something that you still might be seeing in your child's writing. Now, I just wanted to point out, we were talking a little bit about top to bottom, that we've got to dive down. So when making an L, I'm diving down. So I wouldn't be starting down here. I start at the top, I dive down. And then these are some letters here that I incorporate the dive down, and then I swim back up. So to make my H, a lot of kids, their H's look something like that. That is not an H. It is not. It's not easy to read, and we are ready for more. If they can write their name, they are ready to make all these letters look nice and neat the right way. So they're going to start at the top, they're going to dive down, then they're going to swim up that same line and then curve over. I stopped too soon. There we go. To make my M, again, I'm going to start with that straight line first. I dive down, swim up, and I swim up again. A very fun one to make. With my N, dive down, swim up and over. My R, you can see all these letters are all very similar. Diving down, swim up. A lot of kids like to go like that. That is not acceptable. So if they were still with me face to face, I would be sharing that with them, that they are ready to do better, that this is lazy work and they really need to kick it up a notch, and they're totally ready to do that, because I want your child to go into first grade being ready, being prepared, getting lots of compliments and not tons and tons of corrections. And so the way that happens is by being purposeful and learning how to write our letters the right way, really taking the time to think about that. So when they're practicing their sight words, you can incorporate letter formation into that. Like, let's make the letters look nice and neat. as we're working on that. And we talk a lot about, this is why we use pencil in our writer's workshop, because we can erase pencil. Pencil forgives our mistakes. Pencils lets us make our writing easier to read. It lets us revise it. So we tend to use our pencils so we can erase it, and we don't get stressed out that, oh, we've got pen or marker and I can't change my mistake here, Mrs. Growth. So use those pencils, practice that writing. I hope that learning about Magic C and how Magic C allows us to be able to make so many letters. I also hope that learning about E and how to hit the ball and run around the bases is super helpful for you, and that learning how to dive down and then swim back up is super helpful. So if there's other things that you would love help with at home, moms and dads, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be happy to whip up a little movie. All right, thanks.